Hello there everyone, the Jedi Brick here. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the LEGO Marvel set 76307 Iron Man Mech vs. Ultron. This set came out on January 1st of 2025, has 101 pieces, 2 minifigures, and retails for $15. This is part of the LEGO Marvel Mech line they've been doing for about 4 or 5 years now. This is, I think, our third or fourth Iron Man mech within that line, so the Iron Man mechs are really nothing new to us LEGO Marvel fans. We've been getting a lot of these. I really wish I had them all to compare. I think that would be really interesting just to see the overall differences. But one notable thing about this one, this comes with Ultron, our first Ultron since 2015. It's been 10 years since we've gotten an Ultron minifigure. So for that reason, this is kind of a big deal for a lot of Marvel fans because a lot of them don't have an Ultron. And this one's more comic book based, but still, I think it's good to have an Ultron available again, especially with the Age of Ultron sets coming out now with the Avengers Assemble one. So having an Ultron available for those people, I think, is very important. The box art for this set, of course, has Iron Man in his mech. You have Ultron down there flying away. You have this really cool stripe, or the strip right there with the Avengers. This is, of course, a more comic book base set. This isn't really based off any of the movies. You'll see that with the minifigures, but I like that box art there. It looks really cool, kind of all the heroes in their classic comic book suits. We have the little icons down there with Ultron and Iron Man. Flipping this over to the back, you have Iron Man out of the mech. You can see that open right there, taking on Ultron head on, so I think that looks really cool. You can see the stud shooter as well there, and the Avengers logo down there as well. Not really a whole lot to talk about with this box, so let's take a look at those minifigures. For the first minifigure here, we have Iron Man. And now this is technically a new and exclusive minifigure to this set. The torso and the legs have come in a bunch of more comic book based sets before, but the new thing here is the helmet visor, which has some different printing. It has some lines on there. It also kind of has this really cool, I guess, arch, which is very much comic book inspired. This whole suit is based off Iron Man's suit from the comics. It's just more modernized, which I do think is really cool. I like that we're getting more comic book style sets with the main Avengers. I think that's really cool. But yeah, this suit is pretty good looking. I like the arc reactor. It has a nice shine to it under the light. You can really see that when I turn it. The gold on there looks pretty good. The gold on the legs, though, looks very faint. It's hard to really tell on camera because of the shine, but it really could have used another coat over that. I think it looks a lot better. Like on the box art, you can really see the difference there. It just does not have that same shine to it, which is really unfortunate. I don't know if that's just something with mine or it's a issue a lot of other people are having, but that's my experience with it. The back of the torso looks pretty good. Not a whole lot going on there, just a bit of extra detail on the armor. Flipping this back around, I'll lift up the visor. You can see we have the same Tony Stark head we've been getting since, oh man, since around Infinity War. It's been a while since we've had this one. Flipping this the other way around, you can see the other side of Tony Stark's head. I will say I'm not a huge fan of these new helmets for the Iron Man suits, but I think this one looks really good. I think having the extra detail on there is definitely making me enjoy it more. It just looks a lot less flat. It gives it a lot more shape. So I think that definitely makes these look a lot better. So with that, I think this is a pretty solid minifigure. So here's the Ultron we get in this set, and I think this is a really good representation of the comic book Ultron. This isn't based off the Marvel movies, like I've said, but it has been 10 years since we've gotten one, and I think they knocked it out of the park with this one. I think the detail on the torso and the legs is really good, and it's rare nowadays that we get leg printing on a non like Iron Man minifigure, I guess. I could have totally seen them just doing the gunmetal gray legs with no printing, calling it a day, and then just yeah, just forgetting this minifigure even existed. But they did put leg printing on there, and I think it looks really good. You can see all that detail on there. It just looks really good. Like I said, leg printing on Marvel minifigures is kind of rare nowadays. I really don't know why. We almost never get like dual molded legs anymore. Like Spider-Man doesn't even get his dual molded legs anymore in a lot of sets. I think that's crazy. Anyway, We have the torso right there, and I love the red lines on there. You can really get a lot of the detail of his robotic body. I think the overall shaping of the body looks really nice too. Flipping this around, you have a bit more of that red mixed in with the silver and the gray. I think they did a great job kind of blending the two colors together, and I think this is a great representation of comic book Ultron. He does have the same piece that's used for the Age of Ultron, Ultron from 10 years ago. I think that's great that they brought that piece back. I think that's very important for him. So that's that piece right there. If I put the head back on, you can see kind of the face print just a little bit better. I do love the face print for Ultron. I think they did a great job with the mouth and the eyes, just getting that intimidating face represented in Lego. You have this little space between the eyes, which I think kind of represents the Mind Stone and like where it would have been if Ultron, got the Mind Stone, like kind of like how Vision has his right there. On the back of the head, you can see a bit more detail. If I move the light just right, you can see all those tiny details right on the back of the head. I think that's really, really well done. Not something that's going to get a lot of visual, especially with the back of the neck piece, but they did a great job with the back of the head. If I show you guys the rest of the figure, you can see he has those red pieces on his feet to represent, the thrust so he can pretend to fly. So you do get two of those in the set. Now let's move on to the mech. So with this mech, there really isn't a whole lot to talk about. This is a mech. What you see is what you get. We've gotten dozens of these at this point. I think you guys almost all know the drill. You have these kind of the Ninjago knee joints. That's where they were introduced. And you get those on the legs and the arms just to kind of make them more sturdy. So I just knocked the legs off. I don't really know how I did that, but you can move the legs. You don't have a whole lot of mobility like front and back. You do get a lot of the stuff on the sides because of the ball joint, but moving it front and back, you can really only go about that far. And then with the legs on there, I'll put those back on, you get a bit more. And I think the reason they do this is because you get a lot of different poses and like the center of gravity. It just makes it harder for it to really fall. You can pose this thing in kind of crazy ways and it won't really fall. It has a lot of balance to it. Of course, when I say that, it's not going to, but there we go. You can have it on one foot and it's balancing out. You can move these all the way back, like it's kind of doing the splits, I suppose. So you do get a lot of options when it comes to moving it in and out, just not really front and back, just because of how the ball joints are. Showing you guys those legs separately, though, you can see the foot there is also on a ball joint, and underneath you have a translucent blue disc to kind of represent the thrust coming off the bottom of his feet. Another look at the inside of that Ninjago mech joint there, and just snaps right onto the waist area, and those are the legs, and it's all connected here at the waist with some dark red ingot pieces just for a bit more detail, and that is connected just by a Technic, one of those black pins, and right here to the main cockpit area. This is printed on a 2x2 tile, and I think that looks really good. Look at that reflectiveness on there when it's shined in the light. That's great that they don't make you put that on a sticker. I think that's great. I love the way that looks. That's really cool. I never noticed like how reflective it was till it's under my studio lights, but that whole front area comes out, and you can take your Iron Man minifigure. He just sits right in there. You don't have to really worry about his arms getting in the way because that just all kind of encapsulates him. So that looks really good. You don't have to worry about the arms getting in the way. So again, very cool. You just have the head sticking out, which how he would see. But now over to the arms. We'll start over with the right arm with the cannon. Or I guess this is the left arm. My mistake. So we have the cannon right here, which is just two stud shooters, the newer kind that are much more brick based than just the accessory. So you just press down on those gray pieces right there and you can shoot off the studs. I do like they gave him a cannon for one arm. It definitely helps this be a bit different than the previous Iron Man mechs we've gotten. So I think that's great, kind of separate, you know, the likeness of the other ones. You have another ingot piece right there. You have these really beefy shoulder pads here that kind of interfere with the articulation just a little bit with the sides there, but you definitely can get a lot of posability out of the arms. But if you want to have it like kind of looking up like that, that's as high as it's going to be able to go. You can go higher like that, but again, that piece right there kind of gets in the way. So there is definitely a limit to the articulation because of the shoulder pieces right there, but you can also move this down here, rotate it as much as you want. So that is really cool. You're not going to get any rotation at the elbow because it is the same piece. It's fixed in that position. And for the other side, you have just a normal hand with these kind of newer claw pieces in gold. So if I show you guys the palm there, you can see you have a translucent blue piece as well to kind of be like the repulsor, so you can like pew, pew, shoot Ultron, I guess. So that's really cool. You have 4 fingers on there in that gold, that newer gold piece, and the arm, like the shoulder piece, is the exact same build for the other side. So again, with the articulation, you're not going to get a whole lot in certain positions, but you still definitely can get some cool poses out of this thing. And just to show you one of those, here is one where I have him balancing on one foot, and I think this is a pretty actionable pose, I would say. You can have, let's see, we can get your Ultron here, like I just dropped the piece, but pretend he's like firing lasers. He's like, oh no, I got hit. There's definitely a lot of different poses you can use. This is a kid's toy at the end of the day, so they wanted to prioritize stability with the ability to like kind of pose him and have balance like that. Like he's able to balance on his own. That's really cool. So that's why they go with these Ninjago joint pieces. So balance is not something they really have to worry about, and it's also stronger. You don't have to worry about it falling apart. It's easy to build. You can take these off. You can mix and match them with other mechs if you wanted to, like make the Ultimate Avengers mech. So there's reasons why they do that kind of stuff. So here's everything that you get in the set, and with the 2 minifigures and the mech for $15, I would say this is just a little bit overpriced. I think $10 this would have been perfect. Again, keep in mind $15 could get you a battle pack for some of them. When they're on sale, $15 could get you a battle pack, 4 minifigures, a small build. So with that in mind, I feel like this is just a little overpriced. I think $10 would have been the perfect spot for something like this. I think the reason why they justified it for being $15 is because of the extra minifigure. But if you see this on sale for $10, I would definitely go for it. If you have a kid, this would be a great little gift for them, with Christmas or what have you. So this is definitely an affordable set, great for kids, easy to put together. You get a good value of play. We have the bad guy, you have the good guy. So for kids, this is definitely a 10 out of 10. Overall, I think this is a 9 out of 10 Lego set. I just think it's really good. I enjoy this. I don't really have a whole lot of negative things to say about it. I really like the Iron Man too. I know I kind of hate on the new helmets, but I think with the amount of detail and printing on this one, I think it definitely looks really good. I can definitely ignore the flatness of the face. It just looks a lot more dynamic. So with all that said, I think this is a great Lego set. I would definitely recommend it for the younger Marvel fans. This is a great way to get 2 key characters in Lego that, if you're just starting out, you may not have them yet. So I think this is great for kids, great for adult collectors who just want to get their hands on an Ultron minifigure. But yeah, with all that said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you're new here, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to my channel. With all that, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.